Awesome. Hello, Brenda.
Hi guys, hi Fabs.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're so excited to have you all here. I am Fabs. I am the Senior Social Media Manager at PicMonkey. I've been there for 3 years and I adore my job because I get to play with PicMonkey all day. And today we have
Play with graphics all day long.
Brenda.
Well, I jokingly say that I love my job because I get to play on Facebook all day long.
I think social media manager and social media anything is like so fun. So obviously we're here to talk about a lot about social media and to talk about social media and direct selling particularly. So we're going to dive on in. Brenda is the expert in both and me more just on the social side, but we're excited to learn and dive in. I want to hear a little bit about you, Brenda. What's your story?
Well, rock on. Thank you for inviting me. Hi, everybody. I'm Brenda Ster. I'm the founder of Sassy Suite, and our whole goal is to rid the world of spammy direct sales. It's kind of as basic as that. And the way that I got started was my background's actually corporate. I was corporate for, I don't know, 20 years. I started when I was 5, obviously. And my day job, my corporate job was really stressful. I joined a direct sales company because it wasn't my day job. It was light and shiny and nobody would yell at me about jewelry. And what I quickly found was that direct selling has a stigma of being sort of spammy and disingenuous because there's not a lot of really good marketing training. So I took my corporate background and started to build a training approach for my own team that would help us build training or help us build a marketing plan that would attract people toward us rather than repel them and not be spammy, not burn out our warm network, not annoy our friends and family, all that kinds of stuff that there's sort of a stigma about. So, and then I had a lot of success in my own direct selling business to the point where people started asking me what I was doing differently. And that led to sort of this experiment of starting a Facebook group that would be 100% no promotion, 100% about value and teaching how to build a marketing plan, sort of a visual, compelling, highly engaging marketing plan for direct sellers specifically who have some unique challenges in how they sell that would benefit them, that would build sustainable businesses, that would build relationships, that wouldn't be focusing on a fast sale and therefore a kind of a fast burn. 4 years later, here we are. We have a thriving Facebook community of over 100,000 direct sellers, and my little sort of experiment of can we do direct sales better has turned into a lot of people who sort of approach direct selling in a much more authentic way to build content and value for their audience before they ask for a sale. Versus, hey girl, have you heard about my business opportunity? I don't know you. I haven't talked to you since high school, right?
Yeah.
Those are not, I mean, there's some law of numbers, cold marketing there, but it's not necessarily going to build you a sustainable long-term relationship-based business. So we approached it differently and it's been really, really successful.
That kind of leads into the next question that we had that was, what was that need that you see in that direct seller community, which you kind of just spoke to a lot. It's like how do you balance that? Hey, it's me. Hey, friend.
Hey, girl. Hey, hon. Right?
How's it going?
Here's the thing, and this is what I'm really passionate about. I absolutely love working with direct sellers. And the reason is because every direct seller, doesn't matter what they sell, clothing, makeup, jewelry, healthcare, it doesn't matter what they sell. They're joined their company for a really specific reason that serves their personal goal, whether it's discount on product, whether it is make some side money, help support their family, or they really believe in the mission of the company and the products, whatever it is. And there's a motivation there, and every direct seller simply strives to be successful. Mm-hmm. So there's a gap in that a lot of brands, the corporate brands, and this is one of the unique challenges of this industry, the corporate brands don't necessarily teach attraction-based marketing, traditional online marketing and strategy. So they send direct sellers a box of product or some marketing supplies, and they say, go book parties and sponsor people, but they don't teach them how. So what ends up happening is, in the absence of any guided coaching or structure, they burn out their friends and family, and there's a big deficit of how to do it in a way that keeps your relationships intact for people to actually want to support you and cheer for you and want to help model your success in their own life. So there's this deficit there. So when I was really analyzing what I was doing with my own team and earning, the incentives and the trips and all the things, and then people started asking me, I was like, well, I don't know, could I take on an industry and prove that I think we could do it better? I don't know, maybe. It was a hypothesis at the time, 4 years ago. But there was this need to fill the gap of coaching attraction-based marketing strategy. Because marketing and sales are not the same thing, right? Selling a product that is different than marketing a need to a problem that your product is a solution for. That's different. So building that, our goal was to try to fill that need and create relationship-based value and serve the reasons people come online in the first place, which is really much more about entertainment and relationships than it is about people come online to watch commercials, because they don't.
Yep, that's a good passion right there. So that's kind of social. That's what social is all about, right? It's that beautiful place where we go to be entertained and inspired and not just sold to all the time. So you can tell us a little bit about how direct sales, like social, plays such a huge role in there.
Well, it's really the majority of women. I serve primarily women, so I don't mean to be gender exclusive, but I tend to speak mostly to women. The majority of people who work in this business space are on their phones. They're busy on the go, either professional women, they're stay-at-home moms, they're on their phone, and the way they connect with their communities is primarily mobile first.
Yep.
And when we think about social media-based engagement, and we're building rapport, we're building attraction, we're building engagement with our communities, the way that we're doing that is through relatability. The way that we're doing that is through entertainment value, things that we can connect on because we have something in common. We like the same things, we laugh at the same things, we have a similar backstory. I have kids, you have kids, we're all sort of in this together, we're doing the best we can. When we connect on a relationship-based point first, it extends to the very seedling of a new relationship. And when that relationship begins to grow, who do we think of when we do any type of small business marketing? We tend to think of our friends and family, and we want to support people we know, like, and trust. I think everybody who's been in marketing has heard of know, like, and trust, right? And it starts foundationally with the content that you're posting that's attracting someone towards you to build it, to build that know, like, and trust. You're someone who I feel like I click with, I get your vibe, I like your personality, you're funny, you're weird, I understand your story, I know what's important to you. And then that draws me in, and I want to learn more, so that when you do post something promotional, I feel like I'm invested, and I have a much better chance of extending to, but the business is not primary, the relationship is primary. So that when we build our network through much more attraction-based content, we have a much better chance of creating communities and that have something to talk about. So it's very much of sort of sell less to sell more, right? And that's counterintuitive to how a lot of people in this business space or a lot of brands teach. They don't teach sell less to sell more.
Yep.
And the challenge is,
it's becoming more and more, social media is becoming like a place where it's all about relationships, all about realness, and like about trust. It's like if I'm going to a restaurant, I don't check anything but social media first. I'm like, location, what are people saying about it? What are people doing? Like, and that that restaurant almost becomes a person to me, and it becomes inviting to me. I'm like, oh, okay, they have like really cool brand voice. They have really cool this. It's like cool aesthetic. I'm gonna go there.
Exactly.
So it's like across the board.
You connect with the vibe, right? And we connect the same way with people. And we follow stories, and we follow blogs, and we follow YouTubers, and we follow video because they're funny and interesting and weird. I mean, at this exact moment, I'm not even kidding, at this exact minute, it's 12:09 in Phoenix, where I live. I am positive my 8-year-old at this exact minute is in the house watching Minecrafters on YouTube. I'm positive. Why? Because he wants to see the entertainment value of the story. And now they're monetizing the back end on all those views, but they're not selling. They're simply creating entertainment. They're creating a show.
They're entertaining. They're inspiring.
And that's the key thing. So we really focus on how to create that content that will be entertaining. And a lot of people will say, but I'm so boring. And I'm like, no, girl, you're not even remotely boring.
No.
Not even remotely. I work at home. I never go anywhere. The big outing for me is to the grocery store, and I am a hardcore homebody. My community knows I love being at home. Okay. But what I do and what I teach is simply narrate your life. You narrate the funny and the self-deprecating and the slightly weird and the things that are going to be relatable and people are going to sort of smile at.
You tell a story.
And that's exactly it. You tell the story, and now someone else goes, I get her. Me too.
Yeah.
Right? That's the goal.
Absolutely. So we both feel very strongly about social, and we love it very much. But it does have its pain points, and there are a lot of things that I, as a marketer, see out there. What are you seeing out there, specifically in direct selling, that people are kind of just making a little bit of mistakes out there in social?
Well, I think the big things is they're thinking me-centric instead of consumer-centric. So every consumer, every prospect is the hero of their own story, right? They're the character in your own story. So what ends up happening is if the marketer makes themselves the hero, the consumer loses interest in the story. Whereas if I make my consumer and say, you know what, I know you want to be successful. I know you want to have a successful business. I know you want to help make some money for your family. I know that these are the things that you want. These are the problems that you have. I want you to be the hero, and I want you to have those things.
Yeah.
So what happens then, I'm not the hero. The product isn't the hero. I'm the guide to help you get to those things.
Yeah.
So when people approach things like, I'm so close to meeting my goal. Who wants to help me? No. That's the spammiest thing ever. And my response is, nobody. So those kind of guilt posts, they might work once, but next month people are going to be like, I don't know you, right? Void virtual eye contact. So I think there's a major problem in how marketers put their prospect into the hero position of the story. What is the consumer's pain point? What does the consumer really want? They want success. They want happiness. They want something in their life. They have a very specific need, either an external or an internal pain point, and they need help with that thing.
Yeah,
so show how you're solving that for them.
That's a good call out.
That's exactly what I think the main pain is of people who approach marketing wrong. You're not marketing a product. You're marketing a solution that the customer has that makes them successful. In whatever their pain point is.
I feel I have a lot of, as a social media manager, I have a lot of marketing crushes out there. There's a lot of brands that are just doing just that right. Like they aren't speaking, you don't even know, like they don't even talk about their product. They're just talking about outcomes. They're speaking to your pain points. They're like, this is the pain point, here's the solution.
Yeah.
The in-between is the product.
Yeah.
All you're seeing is you're feeling the pain point and you're feeling the like happy, the end goal.
Yes. I literally had a call this morning with a client who sells candles. And we were talking about how to build a story. She's going to be doing a live sale. And she said, well, this is she was talking about the ingredients and the sizes. And I said, that's not what we want to talk about. That might be important stuff. And it's sort of tactical internal stuff. But guess what? The average consumer is not connecting emotionally to the ingredients in your candles. What are they connecting to? The memories, the feeling that a candle is evoking, right? They're connecting to something that is an outcome that this candle will help them build in their life. You're talking to a busy, frazzled mom who is going to light a lavender candle and immediately be relaxed and feel better.
Yeah.
Right? You're selling a citronella candle, but you're not selling how citronella works. You're selling be the cool mom on your block and all the kids play at your house because you got no bugs. You're selling an outcome. So when you tell the story differently and you put your prospect in the hero position, you have a much better chance of creating that connection. And they're like, yeah, I see
Yeah,
I get
that's
it.
me.
It's about me,
Yeah.
right?
I love it. So this is I think a big one for me because I know that a lot of the direct sellers that I know are representing a big corporate brand and
Yes.
getting assets. And then I almost like see the same thing. Like, many gals that I follow are selling for this brand and I see repetitive assets. And my question to you is how can they stand out with their assets and with their marketing?
And I think this is one of those catch-22s, okay? Now, I will be the first to admit that corporate brands create amazing, gorgeous social media imagery. They
Mhm.
spend a ton of time and money creating marketing assets that are well lit products and tell us the imagery tells a story. And then what happens is 10,000 people post the exact same image at the exact same time on Facebook or Instagram, and nobody gets any reach, and everyone plummets, and then everyone wonders why their business isn't growing. And there's a lot of sort of technical reasons why that if enough people mark something as spam on Facebook, Facebook's going to suppress it in the algorithms, and everyone floods the news feeds with the same imagery. And
Mhm.
therefore, nobody stands out. Nobody stands out when you all use the same thing. Versus there's a strategy of content mix that those promotional images might be beneficial and valuable in your marketing, but it's really only one piece of your marketing. You have to build something that looks like your own original voice, your own brand that leads people up to the story that's problem that product solves. So our goal then is to find the right balance between the imagery that a corporate brand provides and the story and the imagery that you yourself create because it's your voice and your personal brand. The brand of
Mhm.
Brenda who happens to sell a product, the brand of
Mhm.
Fabs who happens to sell a product. Um,
Mhm.
and, I think this is a business space that is so vast. Everybody knows somebody who sells something, whether
Mhm.
you realize it or not.
Totally.
Everyone knows somebody who sells something, even if it's just a side little hustle and they only make a couple $100 a month. Everyone knows somebody who sells something. And this business space is so vast and it's often overlooked because it's not necessarily seen as legitimate business and it's sort of a side hustle.
Mhm.
And I'm all about, well, there's still a legitimate business here of millions and millions of direct sellers who want to be successful. So
Yeah.
how can I help them be successful, even if it's only to couple $100 a month to their goal to make their car payment or pay for their kids' daycare or whatever it might be, or all the way up to somebody who's a career builder and truly invested in a business opportunity. So, the big distinction in how someone can stand out from their corporate marketing is finding their own voice and creating original imagery in their non-promotional content.
Yeah.
Promotional content, yes, might be provided by the company, but the company's not providing all the other stuff. They're not providing
Yeah.
all the other value of the marketing funnel.
Yeah. Your content calendar is like certain percent of it is corporate
Yeah,
stuff, and then you
yeah,
fill out the rest with
exactly,
you stuff.
exactly.
That's awesome. So let's talk about attraction-based strategies. I know you have a lot of experience with that. So can you tell us
Yeah,
what it is, first of all, for those of you who don't
yeah.
know, and how direct sellers can benefit from it?
So when you're thinking of marketing as a big giant umbrella, there's a lot of different types of marketing. There's cold marketing, which is purely the law of numbers, make enough cold calls and one of them's going to hit, right? Attraction marketing is, I'm personally not good at cold marketing, but I'm really good at creating personality content that people can engage with that pulls them toward me. So
Hmm.
attraction marketing is literally creating content that's compelling, that somebody wants to follow. It's more pull marketing. I'm pulling people in. And it breaks down, and I know we have a question on this, Fabs, it's probably the next one or soon, that talks about content type.
Hmm.
And attraction strategy is attracting people towards you continually with the marketing you're putting out that's based on value in your message or entertainment in your message. So, fundamentally, people come to social media for three reasons, and three reasons only. Relationships, we all peek and see what our friends and family are doing. Maybe the ex-boyfriend, some occasional stalking. Not that I've ever done that. I've been married for
Same.
14 years. I don't never do that. And then there's people come to social media for entertainment. We come because that's why stuff goes viral. It's weird and funny, right? And then we come to social media for utility, because we personally have a need. And every one of us at one point or another has asked friends, does anyone know somebody who does this thing, sells this thing, or asks your friends a question that they can help sort of crowdsource the answer for? We've all done that. That's utility. We don't come to social media for commercials. It's kind of like, we don't watch TV for the ads. We don't come to social media for the commercials. So when we create the content mix, and I think everybody's heard about sort of an 80-20 rule, we break it down in in the suite, in my business, to the 3 P's of content: personality content, purposeful content, and promotional content. And that content mix is what creates your attraction strategy. So personality content is that content which helps people get to know you. What are you all about? What's your vibe? What's important to you? What's your story? What's your sense of humor? Sort of what's about you? And behind the scenes, everyone wants to sort of see what's happening behind the scenes of somebody else's life. We are all a little bit voyeuristic. And the reason I know this is because this has happened to everybody. How many times have you ever clicked on an image on social media and looked past the primary image to what was happening in the background? What's on her bathroom counter? What does her kitchen look like? We've all done that, right? So that's a tiny little bit of behind the scenes. That's value that helps build rapport, because it's like, oh my gosh, she has the same art on her walls that I do, or oh my gosh, I love her bathroom, right? Yeah. So we've all done that. So that's personality content when we show that sort of what helps someone get to know me. Purposeful content is content that is all about value to your prospect, to your consumer. It's the things that are helping them along that journey, that they have a problem and you're helping guide them to a solution. So in my case, people want to be successful in small business marketing. So I'm providing a lot of tips. I provide workbooks and ebooks and webinars and trainings that would be helpful for someone to help build their social strategy. Yeah. Purposeful content is all about serving your prospect. And then promotional content is obviously promotional. Anything in direct selling that starts with the words shop, post, or join, that's a promotional post. So the goal then is when you're putting those together to create an attraction plan, 20% of your content is promotional, and that might be that corporate imagery. But the 80% is personality and purposeful, and drawing somebody in and telling the story and providing them value and creating community that they say, I really like her. I like her community. I like her vibe. She's telling me the story of what my problem is and how her product is guiding me toward a solution to that problem. And that's sort of the content arc, the marketing funnel. So, those 3 P's are what I teach, like literally what is a personality post? What does that look like? What's your call to action? How do you write your copy? How do you make it engaging? How do you make it relatable? What's a purposeful post? What does that look like? What's an example? Let's talk about examples of purposeful content. And then how do we create the arc that guides it toward a promotional outcome? Because at the end of the day, we're still marketers, but we're focusing on sharing value first and solving problems that a prospect or an audience has, so that all my storytelling is around helping solve a problem. My product is simply one of the elements that helps solve that problem, along with my tips and my funny and my personality and any other value I've provided.
Yeah, those 3 P's are definitely something to, if you're listening, write them down, learn them, love them, keep them there.
Learn them and love them, that's right.
Learn them and love them. When we do our content planning, from both whether it's a personal perspective, like my personal social media accounts, or our PicMonkey accounts, it's staying true to like that good 80-20, that like, are we being purposeful? Are we showing personality? And showing personality for a brand isn't always the easiest thing in the world,
No, it's not. It's easier as a single direct seller because the personality is you.
Yeah, so own it, right? Own it.
Yeah, lean into it.
Yeah.
And so, but this is where a lot of people will say, but I'm so boring. And I'm like sitting here going, no, you're not boring, because guess who you're going to relate to? Other people who feel like they're boring too, and you're forming a tribe around going, oh my gosh, let's be relatable together, because guess what? We're all boring. When in reality, you're not. You're really not. Everyone has a story. Whether your story is you're running around doing kid stuff, or you're so busy because you work full time and you've got kids full time and you're a wife full time, or you're there's a story there, and it's going to relate to somebody who says, I see myself in that story. I see myself in that lifestyle. And yeah, I get her because she's like me and she's just making it relatable. The people that we tend to follow are those that are most relatable and we find entertaining value in. And the value might simply be, I don't feel so alone because someone else is out there who's as weird and stressed out as I am.
Yeah,
right?
I always give similar advice. I always say you have a passion whether you know it or not. Whatever that is, it's like fiery inside of you, speak about it. Speak about it, talk about it, because chances of somebody relating with you are like very, very, very high. So
exactly. And as soon as you make that connection, and here's the thing, your community will tell you what they want to see. Your community tells you what they like. And the way that they do is through their engagement. So engagement is either up, they like because they totally connect with what you posted, or they're silent. And silence is feedback, right? So silence is like, I didn't connect with this. I'm not going to do anything.
Yeah,
so
and
liking and commenting is really valuable, but so is silence. And you go back and you analyze, well, what did I post that worked? What did I post that didn't work? And post more of this that did and post less of that didn't. And that's how we create a content strategy that ultimately guides toward what we're trying to do in our content. But you know, prospects and an audience in a follower group will always respond, and the response might simply be silence. And if it's not, I have a premium coaching group, and I say it to them all the time. If your content isn't getting engagement, it's the wrong content. It's as black and white as that. If your content's not getting engagement, the message is wrong, you didn't define a problem more clearly enough, or you don't know who you're talking to. Because a single person is on the other side of that screen, that mobile device, that ad, that post, and they're reading something and they're like, well, that doesn't apply to me. That's not me. And as soon as they say, oh my gosh, she's talking to me, literally me, then they respond and they engage and they comment.
Exactly. Brenda, can you repeat the 3 Ps for our listeners, and then we'll move on? But I just want to go over them one more time.
Yeah, absolutely. Personality content, which is content that helps people get to know you. What are you all about? Your sense of humor, your vibe, your personality, your behind the scenes. So my community knows that I love the color pink. I've got 2 kids, 10 and 8. They sort of make appearances in the background here and there. I work at home, very casual. Purposeful content is content that serves your audience and serves the specific problem and solution that they're seeking. Okay, so purposeful content is content of which your product is one element, but other information and value you can provide also fits in there. So it might be informational, educational, motivational, entertainment, it might fit there. So purposeful content is entertainment. Personality is the easiest to create, but purposeful is the reason people follow. I will follow because I get value here. I get tips. I feel like I'm heard. I'm connected. And then promotional is the business outcome that we're working toward. So personality, purposeful, and promotional.
Awesome. Thank you. So let's talk about balance. I feel like we've talked about this quite a bit, just because balance is so important in social. And when we're talking about content types, and when we're talking about content calendaring and content strategies, you're always, always, always thinking about balance. But this stood out to me a little bit more because I know that you guys you have goals, like you want to sell, like
absolutely.
How do you balance that? Like, how do you reach those goals and still like get all that engagement and reach all of those little goals at the same time?
So I approach goal setting in, I'm very much of a begin with the end in mind kind of person. So if you know that you want to hit $1,000 in sales this month, or $10,000 or $200, doesn't matter what your goal is, then okay, that's my goal for the month. I have to back into my execution plan to build toward it. So that means I have to sell 100 items at $100 each, or 100 items at $10 each. Okay, so I have to sell a certain number of items, or have a certain number of customer sales, which then breaks me down to a certain number of parties or sales events or sales motions that I need to hold. So I begin with the end in mind and then back into the sales plan. Then when you're building your marketing structure, your marketing is guiding people toward those sales events. So if I know that I have to do $1,000 in sales this month, and that's going to equal let's say 25 sales at $40 a piece, okay? And on average, each one of my sales events yields 5 sales. I need to do 5 to 6 sales motions this month. Okay, I'm gonna work on hostess parties and live sales and a vendor event and an open house, and I'm gonna do different things. My marketing then is guiding toward those sales motions. They're talking about the value and the personality and the compelling need of why someone should come. So it's really kind of beginning with the end in mind, begin with the promotional goal, and then build the marketing strategy toward it. That's how I approach direct selling goal setting.
So start with the end in mind. Is it like, that's interesting. I like that.
Begin with the end in mind. I'm very much of a know where you're going on the roadmap before you start your journey.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how do you know if you got there?
Exactly.
How do you know if you ended up, oh, I got somewhere. How do I know if this is where I wanted to end up? And it doesn't matter what your goal is. It doesn't matter if it's $100 in sales or $10,000 in sales. I do the exact same thing. We do the same thing for our business. What's our revenue goal? And how many different revenue lines do we have, and what does each one have to yield, and what are our marketing efforts to build toward them? Same exact plan. And then as the balance becomes easier because you're marketing toward a specific goal, you're marketing toward a specific outcome that people can identify with. This like, okay, we're going to be talking all about this one thing at our live sale on Friday. Come along. We're going to be talking all about citronella candles, from the example I used a minute ago. And how they are gonna, they smell like summer and they're the most amazing thing, and how you can use them to really enhance your summer experience. And I'm gonna have all kinds of specials and teasers. So what am I doing in my lead up? I'm talking about summer, I'm talking about kids, I'm talking about my kids, I'm talking about the challenges and the problems of bugs in my yard. I'm building up to this sales event where I'm gonna be selling this focused product. So begin with the end in mind and build the engagement and the value that people can get all along the way to get to that sales outcome.
Awesome. Love it. Quick, we haven't talked about channels, but Facebook Live or IG Live?
Both. I'm a big, it's funny. I tend to go live on Facebook way more frequently than I do on Instagram. However, just this morning, literally right before we went live, I recorded all of my Instagram stories for the month. I did them all in one big batch. I sat down, I did all my Instagram stories for the whole month. So I say both. They serve different audiences. They tend to connect in different ways. Instagram stories are very prominent right at the top of the screen, and people just click through them. They are a fantastic place to show a whole lot of personality, a lot of behind the scenes, a little bit more of the authentic, real self, a little bit more of the funny. So Facebook Live, same kind of thing. They just connect in a different way. They are fantastic channels for a lot of personality and relationship-based value.
That's a good answer. That's exactly how I feel about both of those. And I do like, it's amazing how even if you have that same audience, it's your audience, but they're so different. When you're on IG, when you're on Facebook, you have different personalities, different people in there, and engage with you in a different way. That's good.
Yep.
So I obviously am a big fan of the community that you have built. I was lucky enough to attend one of your Sassy cons and speak at one, and it was amazing to see. And not only that, but I followed along on Facebook for a while and Instagram for a while, and engagement is just something that always stands out to me. So what is your tippy top tip for keeping your audience engaged?
I don't know if I have a tippy top tip, but I can wander around and talk about it in general. So I was like, ooh, a tippy top tip. So here's what I will say about engagement, okay? Low risk personality content will always get higher engagement. So, and what I mean by low risk is something that's not asking someone to commit to something, right? And this is the reason why we know that animals and children always get good engagement. If you've ever posted about your kids or your pets, they're always low risk, right? And everyone likes, okay, they're all relationship. People like kids and animals. So when you see a drop in your engagement, your next post should be a personality post. So the way you're going to kind of watch the wave of your engagement by seeing how each post is performing. So if you see a big drop and you're like, but they should be engaging, why aren't they engaging? And you keep on digging deeper in the hole, If you see a drop in your engagement, the next thing to do is keep on personality post and bring them back out with some low risk. And that's what will keep them engaged and keep on flowing. So I think sort of the dynamic of understanding a low risk post is one that doesn't ask for a major commitment. So a low risk post would be something that is, hey, it's summer, you guys, what are you doing for 4th of July? Right? Or are you a ice cream cone, or are you a bomb pop person? It's 4th of July weekend. What are you going to have this weekend? Low risk. It's not asking me to commit to buy anything or host a party or do anything. It's just pure social.
Yep.
It's pure engagement. That's starting a conversation. So low risk content is where we start, and also then provide a lot of value behind it, provide a lot of tips, a lot of information, a lot of things that help solve the prospect's problem.
Yep.
And the more tips we can provide, the more value we can provide, the better we help draw them in deeper to a relationship in our funnel, in our community, that somewhere down the road, when we ask for the sale, we've made a lot of deposits in the relationship bank. But now I'm going to take my time to make a withdrawal because I've been giving you a lot of value, and I'm going to ask for a withdrawal. Yeah. And I think that's sort of, I don't know, a very long-winded answer of a tippy top tip.
No, that's good. It feels like, to me, my biggest takeaways from that awesome answer were sort of like a good balance between what we talked about earlier, like having some personality in there, and like having a CTA or a question a lot. I feel like just simply asking.
That's a really, really valuable point. So often people write a fantastic post that's just a statement without a call to action. And the call to action, it doesn't even have to be something like this post if you agree. It might just be, hey, you guys, you feel me? Has this ever happened to you?
Yeah.
It's casual, it's conversational. But if you miss the call to action opportunity, they're going to read it and be like, yeah, I nod my head in agreement, but you didn't ask me to comment or engage with you.
Yeah.
Ask for the call to
I silently agreed with you, but you're not going to see my comment. Yep. Awesome.
Every time.
So here's a little wink question for you. So we talked about creating original content. What's your go-to tool?
Can I talk about PicMonkey for a hot second? Okay, so I'm not even kidding. I use PicMonkey for all my go-to graphics. I use it on my phone. I use it on my computer. I use it for everything. And to the point where like my whole community knows that I'm a hard team pink and I'm a hard team PicMonkey. I just am. So visual marketing is where you're creating your original look. So if, when I mentioned those 3 Ps and how promotional is at the end, those personality and purposeful posts that are creating value, creating engagement, showing your vibe, showing your sense of humor, that kind of stuff, that is all stuff that you can create yourself. And if you create a look, like all my pictures always have a pink border and they have little polka dots and they have a little thing in the corner and they start to look like me, as soon as somebody recognizes the image, before they know it was you who posted it, you've established your visual look, your visual brand. And that's so powerful in visual marketing. When someone recognizes an image before they know who posted it because you use the same fonts and the same color and the same elements, that's powerful. So, and now with the PicMonkey Hub, the fact that I can save all those templates, I just whip up the same one, change the words on it, change the background slightly, put a new border on, and bam, it's done. It takes me 30 seconds to make an image. So
it saves time and it keeps you consistent with your brand and with your visuals. It's good.
So shameless plug for PicMonkey, because I am a hardcore PicMonkey fan.
I know you are. That's the only reason I asked. No, I'm kidding.
I totally am.
Awesome. Well, I wanted to announce that this is a good time to announce that we are going to have a contest coming up. So it's going to give you an awesome chance to use PicMonkey to create a post. We'll be giving more details, but basically you're just going to tell us how awesome it is to be your own boss and to be a boss and to just either 3 words that describe you or a cool quote that you love, in addition to some cool edits. It could bonus points if it's made in PicMonkey. But we'll be announcing that contest soon on both of our channels, so keep an eye out for that.
So basically what Babs just said is make a personality post.
Make a personality post, hashtag made in PicMonkey, and tag us. And you'll have a chance to win a free year of PicMonkey and Sassy Elite. So also, if you head to this link that's on the screen right now, picmonkey.love/Sassy Suite, you will get 17% off if you sign up with their link. So if you are a Sassy Suite, if you just head to that link, really, we are offering a discount.
Yeah, we are so excited about our sort of our relaunched partnership. My goal always is to bring value to my community, right? My goal is to bring value to my community through tips and discounts and anything that can help them be more effective in their small business, because these are direct sellers who are on a budget. They are working hard with, they want to maximize their value and their return. So the fact that we can get a discount for PicMonkey with our Suite partnership is so fantastic. I love it.
Yes,
it's my favorite thing.
Awesome, awesome. So definitely check that out.
My community here watching 17% and a 7-day free trial.
Awesome. And I'll let you
tell
us all about the Kickstart workbook.
Yeah, let me talk about this. So the other thing that we wanted to offer is for anybody who is in direct sales, or you're kind of like, I sort of am newish in this business space, or maybe not natively in direct selling, but still a solo entrepreneur. I have a gigantic workbook. It is 34 pages long, so I apologize in advance when it uses up all the ink on your printer, but it is literally Kickstart Your Direct Sales Social Marketing Strategy, and it lays out the key points of building that strategy, from developing your content plan, building your sales and your party plan in a value-oriented way, attracting prospects towards you with your own branding, growing your team through value-oriented sponsoring, extending your online funnels, and then creating a high-performing team culture. So literally the whole direct sales social marketing plan. So every element of your direct sales business can be done in an attraction-oriented, authentic, relationship-based way that serves value to your community, every single step. So you can grab that workbook as well at sassysuite.com/kickstart workbook, and you'll get this 34-page bad boy. It's big. It's going to deliver as a PDF, but I got mine printed, and it's meaty, to say the least. It's meaty.
That is awesome. Brenda, do you have a few minutes to answer some? We got some pretty good questions in here.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't see any good questions. I can't see them in the sidebar, so
I'll read them out loud. I'll read them out loud, and then you can answer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm Alexandra. I'm an owner of a boutique studio struggling to stay afloat in Tampa Bay. Hi.
Hi.
Alexandra. She just wanted to say hi.
Hi.
So how do you think DS is best marketed? Blog posts, Instagram, or Facebook?
I have an opinion about this. Let me tell you. Okay. So this is Alexandra's question?
This is Carol's question.
This is Carol's
Alexandra just wanted to say hi.
Hi, Alexandra. Okay, so Carol's question is, how is direct sales best marketed? Let me answer this question in a little bit of a round circular way, but start here. Each one of the channels you mentioned, Carol, serves a different purpose, okay? Facebook is all about building community. Instagram is all about creative inspiration. And Google is served for the very specific question that somebody is asking. So they're really different, okay? Now, I will say the majority of direct sellers start on Facebook. So you want to really get good at building your community and keeping the community you have engaged, and then adding more funnels. Now, the question is, what funnel do you add next? Do you add something that serves by Google and blogging, or do you start with Instagram? I would personally recommend going to blogging, microblogging, or something that serves Google, because it's a direct funnel. So when someone is going to Google, they're literally typing in a question. How do I do something? They have an immediate need right now to a question. And if your response is what pops up, and you can answer their question, and then in that blog post, call to action, say, want to learn more? Come follow me over there, okay? That's a direct call to action, a direct funnel. Whereas Instagram is a little bit more indirect. Instagram is more visual inspiration, creativity, yes, you can build a funnel connection and a value story there, but it's not as immediate to where somebody is literally asking Google a question that you can answer right now.
Mm-hmm.
So start on Facebook and then decide if you want to go the blogging route or the Instagram route. They both can be served, but they have different tactical execution means.
Awesome.
Sort of hope that helps, Carol. Maybe she's like, well, shoot, Brenda gave me the wrong answer. I was hoping she'd say Instagram.
Leanne asked, where can I get a good basic PicMonkey training to start using it? We have an incredible resource center and YouTube channel. So if you're into step-by-step blogs we include videos in the blogs as well, but there's how-tos for pretty much everything and anything in PicMonkey. And then also in our YouTube channel, we have really good like intro to level videos, and our video manager, Evan, does an awesome job at creating and curating all of those. So definitely check it out. It's super, super helpful if you're getting started.
I, every once in a while, will still look for something on how to do in PicMonkey. And I will go to your resource library. And the one I just found recently was how to do the masked effect.
Yeah.
Right? So I used to know how to do it and I couldn't remember, and I used to do it forever ago, and I was like, I know there's a way to like put your floral background inside of the words, and how do I do that again? I found it in your resource library.
Yeah, you'll probably hear my voice a lot because I did a lot of those videos too. So I hope you like my voice because
I love your voice.
Thank you. I did a lot of tutorials and I love making tutorials, so I'll continue to make them. Will this meeting cover how to use PicMonkey and your product to, yeah, so we're not covering that in this one to like the how to PicMonkey. There's not going to be an actual demo today, but like I said, our resource center has a bunch of good stuff and we'll be doing demos down the road for sure. So Lisa asked, so do we not use corporate images? Do we make our own and make them my own? Make my own to make them my own. So I guess
Lisa's question is, should I use corporate images or not? Right?
Yeah.
So my response, Lisa, is it is perfectly okay to use corporate images. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Your corporate brand provides gorgeous, amazing imagery, right? The challenge is when everyone posts the same image at the exact same time, you don't stand out at all. And Instagram is flooded and Facebook news feeds suppress the mass imagery. So there's some strategy on, can I use corporate images but use them on a slightly delayed basis? Sure. Can I make my own pictures or take my own pictures or create my own graphics? Absolutely. If you can take your own, you make your own content, you will avoid the risks of being thrown in Facebook jail because everyone used the same image and everyone got thrown in the clink, right? So the more authentic and original your images are, the better in general you will stand out. It's going to find the balance. It's going to be a matter of finding the right balance of how you're using those images in your promotional lead up and your promotional strategy, but finding the balance where you're also making images that look authentically like you.
Good question and good answer. Ralph, I like this question. What's the best way to get more followers that are relatable? Because we talked a lot about if they relate with you, they'll engage with you, but how do you get those followers?
So you have to, so the question is for Ralph, from Ralph?
Yes.
So Ralph, here's the thing. If you build it, they will come only if you go out and get them and bring them back. Okay. So here's how to do that. So you have a fantastic Facebook page or a Facebook group that's high value and a super fun community, and nobody knows about it until you go out and bring people back. And how you do that is quite literally going out into where your ideal client might be hanging out, providing value, answering questions, participating in the conversation in more public forum, and people follow your funnels. They're like, hey, this Ralph guy, he's pretty on the ball and I want to see what he's up to, right? And they follow your funnel back to your group. So that might be participating in Facebook groups, in public forum, answering questions where your ideal client is hanging out. It might be engaging proactively on Instagram hashtags and going where your community and where your client is. And they're going to come back and peek because they're going to look, because we're all a little voyeuristic, right? They're going to come back and look and be like, who's this Ralph guy? He's answering my questions and he's really helping me out.
When they get there, you need to be ready.
You need to be ready because you already built it. If you build it, they will come only if you go get them and bring them back, okay? And that's where your content mix in your own channels, in your own community is important, but then the funnel value of bringing people back by going out and engaging where they are, or building partnerships and sharing value like PicMonkey and the Suite are doing, sharing value to both of our communities to, you know, bring people back in different ways. I talked about PicMonkey in some of my community groups, and I had, I think, we had a whole bunch of people from my community register for the webinar, and they hear me talk about this all the time. I talk about this stuff literally all the time, and they're still like, I will go, Brenda, and watch PicMonkey's webinar. I'm like, please do, right? So when you build partnerships, you provide value in public forum, could be through running ads that might directly speaks to your community or your prospect's problem statement. Because remember, the customer is the hero of their story, and you're the guide that helps them overcome their problem, whatever that is. So the more you can proactively engage and socialize and provide value, Ralph, I think it will help bring your community back and help build your presence that way.
Awesome, good question. Let's do two more since we're almost at time. But so this one's from Angeli, and it's how far in advance do you content plan? Do you do this for all social media platforms, and do you use a scheduler?
Yes, I use a scheduler. And my team plans everywhere from a day to a month in advance. Let me explain what I mean by that. We know what our goals are for the whole month, and some of our content plans have a longer curve to them than, say, a short term, I'm doing something tomorrow. So we do use a scheduler, okay? And we do plan it all out in advance. And we do use consistent imagery. And one of the big challenges in direct selling is, and so many people talk about this. In fact, I asked about it in one of my groups just this morning, and I would say probably a third of the answers were this challenge. And the answer is consistency. It's really hard to stay consistent with your posting and your content planning, right? And because life gets in the way, and work gets in the way, and kids get in the way, and this life gets in the way, and you forget to post for 3 days, and you're like, oh, can I go back? What do I do? What do I say? Do I just come back like nothing happened and now I'm here again? What do I do? So the more you can batch your work, the more you can sit down and make graphics, not one graphic, but sit down and make 10 graphics at a time and save them or pre-schedule them, the better chance you have of getting that consistency in place. So what I do is typically on Sundays, it's sort of fallen into my groove, is I will sit down and, like I said, in PicMonkey, and just happened recently, I made like 70 Instagram quotes one Sunday afternoon in like 3 hours. I mean, I made a ton of them, and I saved them from our Google Drive so that my team can schedule them, and they were done for the next 2 months. I made a ton.
That's awesome.
So it's really thinking strategically about how you can batch your work, use the tools that can help you be present even when you're not present, to maintain consistency, so you don't disappear. Because guess what? When you disappear, people notice. If you disappear for a week or 3, and then you come back and they're all kind of like, I don't know if I trust you. You're gonna have to re-earn my trust. You're gonna have to re-earn my engagement. Right?
When you come back, you're almost reminding them that you weren't there. Like when they see you, they're like, I haven't seen you in a while.
Now, there's also a question of what do you consider consistency? Consistency for one person might be posting 3 times a day. Consistency for someone else might be posting every other day. So there's no right answer for consistency. Pick what's going to work for you that you can stick to, right? And then find the groove of how you can batch your work to be as effective as possible to maintain that.
Yeah, we do, sometimes we'll do 2 months out, we'll do like a fun brainstorm sesh for the next 2 months for our content calendar. So very informal, or like what's coming up, Mother's Day is coming up, Father's Day is coming up, 4th of July, like we do fun, like very informal, kind of on a whiteboard. So if you don't have a team, get your kids, get your brother, sister, anyone, and like just talk about the next couple months and get ideas from them and get the creative focusing.
And that's a really, really valuable point, Fabs. I want to go just a little bit further on that. You can Google weird holidays in July, and you will find like not only the 4th of July and Father's Day and things that are sort of the big, that's in June, isn't it? My husband's birthday is this month. We can all celebrate that. So, but you will also find the weird, obscure, like National Chocolate Chip Day or
Yeah.
National Pizza Day or Nationally Sleep Late Day or something weird, right?
Yeah.
Go Google weird holidays and they naturally
They
create
exist.
personality content. They're
Yeah.
so funny and silly, but people like them because they're weird. And if you find one that's totally your vibe, like I don't know, hypothetically, I love popcorn and this month is National Popcorn Day. A personality post, I guarantee, is going to be me eating popcorn saying, who's with me, right?
Yeah.
Do you like butter or not?
Yeah. And
social.
you're joining that conversation too. You're using the hashtag and you're getting pulled into the National Popcorn Day feed.
Right.
So you're getting your content in front of other eyes. So there is every reason to join hashtag holidays. If it aligns with you and your brand and your personality, do it all day, every day.
Do it.
All right, last question. I think we're almost at time. Yes, okay, so from Amy, are there other ways to measure engagement besides likes and clicks?
Well, yes, there are. There's 4 major ways to measure engagement on Facebook specifically: likes, comments, shares, and what I would loosely call stop the scroll. So you can see it in your page insights when what your reach was on any individual post. So even if someone doesn't like your image, Facebook knows that they stopped and they looked at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can see those in your insights. So, and that's a really important one, especially if you haven't quite gotten the likes and comments going yet. Go look at what the reach was, because Facebook will tell you that a whole bunch of people stopped and looked at this image, even if they didn't like it. So then maybe it was the call to action, maybe it was the written copy, but they paused and maybe they clicked on it. So Facebook knows all this stuff.
Yeah. Another good one too is to look at if you have your Instagram, if you have a business account on Instagram, you can see also you can see sends, shares, and saves. I think saves is a big one because even if that person does nothing, says nothing, they liked it, they're going to save it. And they're going to save it to a collection and they're going to save it for a rainy day because they felt inspired. They were inspired by your content. So I look at that a lot as engagement. Even if you don't like it, but you save it, I'll take it.
I didn't mention this back when, but so we're sort of talking about engagement. Let me give some numbers and we'll kind of go deep again on some numbers. Social analytics are very, very predictable. 80% of people are never, 80% of your followers are never going to engage with you, ever. They're just not. So you have 100 people that like your page and 80 of them are never going to do anything. And you're going to be like, but where are they? I'm awesome, and where are they, right? 80% are never going to engage with you because they're working and they're sleeping and they're not following your channel and your every move for whatever reason. And clearly they should be. 20% though is where we focus. Of that 20%, and this is very 80-20 rule, very 80-20. Of that 20%, you can assume that 15% are your lurkers and your occasionals, and 5% are your active community. So that means out of 100 people, if you get 4 to 5 likes or comments, you're doing great. You're doing great, right? Because that means a lot of what will happen is that people will say, well, I only have 40 followers and only 1 person engaged. Statistically, that's pretty reliable. That's about right.
Yep.
So the challenge, of course, is to grow the top so that the 5%, the 4 to 5% is bigger. So that means you focus on your funnels and things like that. So when we talk about engagement, if someone is like, well, I don't really know how to analyze my data, do a straight, super basic, how many followers do you have on any channel? I have 100 people who like my Facebook page. I have 200 people in my group. And on average, my posts get 10 to 15 comments each. And do some basic math. And if you're falling between 4 and 8% engagement on any given post, you're doing just fine. The bigger the following, the lower the engagement will be, statistically speaking. But on a direct seller's account that has sort of that micro influencer status of under 1,000 followers, we can average 5 to 8% is going to be probably good engagement.
Yep. That's a really great way to finish this, because a lot of people feel discouraged when they look at engagement rates, and when they look at anything above a 3% engagement rate, it's like pretty good.
Kind of stellar, right?
So don't feel discouraged.
Crushing it.
My husband has like 20% or something, but obviously he's He's not selling anything. It's just like he randomly posted a picture of like me and him on our wedding day, and he's like, "I have 20% engagement." I'm like, "Okay," but like he
But you
gets
know
so
why?
excited.
But here's why. It was a relationship post, and everyone wants to
Yeah,
see your
exactly.
perfect wedding picture. Low risk
Yeah,
content will always get higher engagement.
he has higher engagement rates than me, so I'm like, "Okay, cool, chill out, it's
Oh,
okay."
that's so funny.
But
Well, true story. My husband joined Instagram like, I don't know, a month or two ago. And he has all of 200 followers. He's very proud of them. And now he is literally watching his engagement, or he loses a follower or he gains a follower. He tells me all about it.
he
He
watches
has,
it closely. I love that. That's awesome.
he's like, this was a funny post and no one engaged. And I said, well, it wasn't very funny then.
Oh, yeah, unbelievable. Oh my
So
God,
no,
that's
he's totally in it too. He's got 200 followers on Instagram. He's not selling anything. It's 100%
yeah.
family and
Hmm.
personality. Um, but same thing. We look at the numbers because it's
Yeah,
kind of a gut punch when you're like, but why don't they love me? Or why
you
did they
do.
unfollow me?
Totally,
Where did we
totally.
go? Right? It's
I know.
human nature to be like, but why don't they love me anymore? And the reality is that they're not your ideal client because your content isn't connecting with them. And you would
Hmm.
much rather have a smaller community of high engagement that will
Hmm.
make you referable than a huge community that's dead.
Yep, that's so true. So we are officially at time. Florida, 4 p.m. Phoenix, what are you, 1 p.m.?
1 o'clock in Phoenix, y'all.
Alrighty, Brenda, thank you so much for joining. Thank you all for joining today. There will be a replay, so you'll be getting it in your emails for those of you who asked, if you attended and also if you did not attend. So thank you all so, so much. I hope you try out PicMonkey and enter that contest to win.
All right, guys. Thank you for inviting me, Fabs.
Yes, thanks for being here, Brenda. See you
Bye,
guys.
guys.